And welcome back, folks. This is U.S. Home Talk. We are live, and it is Wednesday at noon Central Standard Time. We're coming at you live every Wednesday. I'd say 50 live shows per week. There's a couple weeks that we take off, but for the most part, we're live every Wednesday. You can catch us on all the streaming platforms. So whether you're tuning in live or you're listening later in the week, we do appreciate your support to U.S. Home Talk. My name is Jason Walgrave with Walgrave Real Estate Group in the Minnesota Real Estate Team. At RE/MAX Advantage Plus, we have the great Mortgage Michael Overson from Illuminate Bank and Home Loans. We've got our great producer, Evan Little. Not only is he the great producer, but he is our insurance guru. He is the master of insurance, all things insurance. He can answer those questions. Marcus Walgrave with Hague Realtors is not here today. Where is Marcus anyway? He sent us an email yesterday. He had like the next 12 months planned out. His life schedule is planned out. I was quite impressed. Made me feel a little inadequate in my planning abilities, but I was impressed.
I was impressed. And then I felt depressed about myself and my lack of structure for the next few months of my life. And I basically told him to stop. I said, he's setting the bar too high. You got to stop right now.
Yeah, it's too much. It's too much. I mean, Marcus, you're awesome. We love you. But that's just too much.
Too much organization. Too much future planning ahead. I mean, come on.
Come on. All right, folks, best way to get a hold of us anytime, of course, is our fantastic website, ushometalk.com. You can connect with all of us, myself, Mike, Marcus, and Evan, all of our fantastic show partners, and we have all of our previous shows on there as well. I've got a lot of resources, buying, selling, investing in real estate, financing, new construction, all things real estate. Go to ushometalk.com. Get your questions answered and connect with any of us and all of our fantastic partners on the show. We have a real estate hotline number that is a 24-hour hotline. The number is 612-234-7585. That is the 24-hour real estate hotline number. During the show, you can text in questions to that number, and we'll get those answered on the show. Again, the number is 612-234-7585. Whether you're tuning in via Facebook or YouTube, as we do our show live, you can ask questions in the comment sections on there as well. And it's open to all questions, everything, all things real estate, everything and anything real estate related. Feel free to ask us and we'll get those questions answered. If we don't know the answer, which a very, very low chance, small chance that we don't know the answer. We'll get the answer.
I don't know how many zeros, decimal point, and then how many zeros, and then an actual number, how many zeros are going to be to display the percentage chance that we won't know the answer. I mean, it's going to be statistical insignificant number is what it's going to come down to.
I would agree with that. So we've done probably in the last 15 plus years, we've done, I think, over 600 shows. And I can only think of maybe 3 or 4 questions that we didn't have the answer to in all those years and all those questions. So what is that? 0.0 something percent?
Basically zero. It's zero.
Basically zero. It's unmeasurable. All right, today we're going to talk about reasons to own a home. I'll tell you what, we've got interest rates are starting to creep down a little bit. Predictions from most are that they're going to continue to go down a little bit in the next month or so. And we're seeing a fall. So school started, some of them started last week, some of them are starting this week, and by the end of next week, most of the schools in the Midwest will have started. And so there's always that kind of that little bit of a slowdown at the end of summer, beginning of the school year. But then, probably first or second week in September, we start to see that fall pick up in the market. I think that a lot of folks that are on the fence, if those rates, get into the 5s for conventional, I think they're going to be moving. I think a lot of people want to, want to get locked into a house and a mortgage rate before the election that's coming up, and regardless of of what side you're voting for, I think there's uncertainty from a lot of folks on both sides, and they want to get locked in. And so I think we're gonna have a really good September. Looking forward to it. And we, what do? We help people buy and sell real estate. Mike does the financing. Evan does the insurance. And so we like to, I'm a huge believer in real estate as an investment. I read something yesterday from Dale Carnegie that said, 90% of all millionaires in the United States did so through real estate. Through some type of real estate buying or selling or investing. And so that's a big deal, folks. That's a big number. A lot of times your first home is the one that you're going to live in, but that can turn into an investment property. And so today we're going to talk about reasons to own a home. And Overson, obviously, I'd love your comments on each one of these. We've only got 7. Number 1 on the list is tax benefits. The U.S. tax code lets you deduct the interest you pay on your mortgage, your property taxes, and some of your closing costs involved in buying a home.
Yeah, tax advantages. Some would argue that that's how Trump made all his money, or how Trump limits the amount of taxes he pays,
or how Trump kept all his money.
Right, through all his real estate investments that he has. He's got residential, he's got commercial, he's got skyscrapers, he's got hotels, he's got all of this real estate related property, and it's not illegal, right?
No,
he's just following the code. If the tax code allows it, then he's taking advantage of it. And that's what a lot of investors do. Even just, the investors that just want 1 or 2 properties, they manage it themselves. The tax benefits that go along with it are one of the reasons why people decide to invest in real estate.
Yeah, it's a great reason. And look, I think most of us will agree that we pay too much in taxes. I think most of us will agree that we don't like paying taxes. And so owning a home,
that's me. I agree.
Me too. But owning a home is a way to save on your tax obligations. And so there's tax benefits in owning a home. Number 2 on the list, appreciation. Historically, real estate has had a long-term stable growth in value. Here's what's interesting. This number is actually a little bit higher than I thought it was. Between 1972 through 2014, the average increase in value was 5.2% each year. That's a pretty incredible number, right? So if you're talking about, let's say a $500,000 home, you buy a $500,000 home. After 1 year, it's worth 5.25. 2 years, it's about $550. So after 4 years, you've gained $100,000 in potential appreciation just from owning a home. That's a big deal, And of course, there's been a lot bigger years. I mean, we've seen years where it's 10, 15% appreciation. It depends on the property, the location, condition, and so on. But even if you use the number that they're using of 5.2%, that's a big deal. It is a way to build equity through appreciation in a home that you're living in.
Well, yes, for sure. The 5.2% since 1972 to 14, that stat. I actually have a chart that goes all the way back into the 20s or the 30s.
Nice.
Remember, and it shows the appreciation each year. It's crazy to look at that chart and to think about that. But look even more recently. Look at October of 2022 to today, right? October of 2022 was the first time that rates hit 7% since 2000 or 2001, whenever rates were 7% last time, right? Yep. Way more than 20 years ago, right? And what was everyone saying? Everyone's thinking, right, about home values.
They're going to drop. Yep.
Right? That's what everyone was saying. Yep. Oh, rates this high? It's like home values are going to come down. They're going to drop, this and that. Well, what happened? What actually happened?
They went up.
They actually went up. They went up 2.3% that first 12 months coming out of the 7%, interest rate era. And we're still, we're kind of coming out of that 7%. Now we're closer to the 6%, right? And I think that's going to be the new norm. And I think we're going to continue to drift down. But this appreciation reason here was the biggest I told you so. And we've been talking about this on the radio show for a while, but we're just like, look, guys, real estate, yes. Do interest rates affect the value of real estate? A little bit, right? But the biggest thing is supply and demand. It's all supply and demand. We just do not have the supply for home prices to come down. And guess what? They didn't come down. Right. And guess what? They're not going to come down because as interest rates get lower, it's just going to get pushed up a little bit more. So appreciation, real estate, we've proven it time and time again. We've spoken about this on the radio show and this podcast time and time again. It's for the foreseeable future. It's pretty much here to stay because we don't have the inventory for property to depreciate.
Yeah, and I don't think that inventory levels are going to change much for a long time, 5, maybe 10 years.
Yeah.
So supply and demand. We're talking about reasons to own a home. Number 3 on our list is equity. Money paid for rent is money that you'll never see again. But mortgage payments let you build equity ownership, interest in your home. We're talking about principal buy down, folks. And so you've got a mortgage payment, and let's say it's, $2,000 a month or $2,500 a month. A portion of that payment is going towards the principal, which is like forced savings, right? Earlier in your 30-year mortgage, those first 5 years, the majority of that is going to be interest. But the longer you have that mortgage, the more of that payment goes towards the principal. And so it's a way to build equity just by making the payments. Or, a lot of our clients will, they'll finish the basement, or they'll make home improvements, or they'll do, they'll remodel kitchens or master suites, or add, garage space. And so, equity is a big factor, and it's why it's on this list of reasons to own a home.
Yeah. And that's just, you can gain equity strictly by not doing anything to your property. You can put work into it, and you can do that, but literally just owning the house and letting that thing appreciate, is a huge equity builder. I mean, you were talking about the $500,000 house. I mean, if it's 5.2% per year, that's $25,000 a year that you're getting in equity for free, just for living there.
Right. We're talking about reasons to own a home, folks. Best way to get a hold of us during the week or anytime is our website, ushometalk.com. We've got a real estate hotline number set up at 612-234-7585. You can call us anytime at that number. Connect with Mike, myself, Marcus, Evan, all of our fantastic US Home Talk partners. And during the show, if you want to text in questions, we'll get those answered as well. Number 4 on our list is savings. Building equity in your home is a ready-made savings plan. And when you sell, you can generally take up to $250,000 single person or $500,000 for a married couple as gain without owing any federal income tax. What does that mean? It means you don't have capital gains on the house that you're living in if you've lived there 2 out of the last 5 years. $250,000 worth of gain you don't get taxed on if you're single. If you're a married couple, $500,000 worth of gain. I mean, these are 2 big tax benefits of owning a home. To avoid the capital gains tax, you got to live there again 2 out of the last 5 years. That means you could have bought it 2 years ago, sell it today, or maybe you bought it 3 years ago. And so as long as you live there a total of 2 out of the last 5 years, you don't have to pay capital gains when you sell that property. It's a big deal.
It's a huge deal, right? You can make money without paying taxes on it, right? That's what it is. Now the gains, there's a lot of people that don't understand how to calculate capital gains. So it's not the money that you make on the sale of your house, right? So a lot of people are like, oh, I'm selling it for $500,000 and I owe, $200,000 against it. So after I pay my closing costs and things like that, I'm walking away with $275,000 in my pocket. Mm-hmm. Well, that's more than the $250,000 for a single person. So now I got capital gains to pay. Well, no, it's not that easy. The gain is what you do is you set the floor, right? So what did you originally buy the house for? And then anything that you put into that house, I did new carpet, I did new paint, I put a new deck on, I put a new roof on. I did all this stuff along these years that I own the house. You add that on top of the original price of the house. Yes. And then you take your sales price right? And you have cost to sell. So take your real estate commissions out and take closing costs out and take anything else out, whatever your costs to sell are. And the difference between that floor that you set by adding everything up over the years and then that ceiling that you set by reducing the amount of cost you have to pay to sell it, the difference between those two is your actual gain.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
but the capital gains tax, the federal tax is 15%. The Minnesota capital gains tax is 9.8. So you're looking at, you're 24.8% taxed on the gain. And it's important that you explained it the way you did, Mike. But you lived there 2 out of the last 5 years and you don't have to pay that. So it's a good deal.
It's a great deal.
I think we'll take that deal.
I'll take it. And if you don't want to take that deal, I'll take that deal for you on your house.
Yes.
You can swing that on over for me. I'll take care of that for
That's
you.
That's nice of you.
Wow. I do what I can.
Number 5 on our list, rather, we're talking about reasons to own a home. Number 5, predictability. Unlike rent, your fixed rate mortgage payment does not rise over the years, so your housing costs may actually decline as you own a home longer. However, keep in mind your property taxes and insurance, they'll definitely go up because they have. So your property taxes and insurances will go up, but your principal and interest payment on a fixed mortgage will not. We've talked before many times, rents double every 20 years.
Yep.
Rents are going to double every 20 years. You lock into a 30-year fixed mortgage rate, your principal and interest payment will not change for the entire time that you have that mortgage. That creates a little stability. That gives you some comfort, some feel good, right? Everything else is going up. Everything else is increasing. I mean, we've all felt that in the last few years. But when you lock into a 30-year fixed or a 15-year, any type of fixed product, you know what the payment's going to be for the duration of that mortgage.
Yeah, I'd like to rewind 5 years, right? Rewind 5 years. Someone that bought a house 5 years ago, and obviously their payment's going to be the same, right? So let's say they locked in when rates were super low. I mean, 5 years ago might be a little too long, but let's just say they ended up locking in at like a 3.5% interest rate. You know what I mean? So take what their payment is, right, that they started at, that it's still there today, and see how much like their rent payment would be today if they would have stayed at the place that they're renting at. Because if we had to say rents over the last 5 years have gone up.
Oh man, they've probably gone up close
about 50%. I was going to say
50% in the last 5 years. They've skyrocketed. Rents have skyrocketed.
So if you were paying $1,500 a month in rent 5 years ago, you're probably paying $2,250 now.
Oh yeah, I think that's
right?
pretty spot
That'd be a
on.
50% increase, So it's just, we always talk about there's costs, right? There's costs of things, but then there's opportunity costs. This is kind of one of those opportunity cost things where it's like there's a cost to buy the house. So you got down payment, and you have things like that happen. But then what's the opportunity cost? You're missing out on the appreciation. You're missing out on the savings that you're going to get 5 years from now when your rent would be 50% higher, but your mortgage payment stayed the same over those 5 years.
Right.
All those factors kind of coupling up together is the reason why I think I can't remember the stat, but homeowners versus renters, I think homeowners average net worth is like 178% higher than a renter's. And the reason why is because of home ownership and the benefits and the stuff that comes along with it.
Yep. The equity that you build. Folks, we're talking about reasons to own a home, own your home, reasons to own a home. Number 6 on our list is freedom. The home is yours. You can decorate it any way that you want to. You can paint the walls and ceilings black. You can bring in some all the different lighting, or you can choose to upgrade it, do remodeling. You can add things. When you're renting, you're typically not allowed to do a whole lot of changes. Sometimes landlords will let you paint and paint the walls, but that's about it. When you own it, you can do pretty much whatever you want on the inside for all properties. Townhomes and condos are going to have restrictions on the exterior, but you got the freedom. It's yours.
Put a urinal in the basement bathroom, right? Not going to be able to do that if you're renting, but if you own it, heck yeah, throw one in there.
I'll tell you what, I've seen more urinals in the last year than I ever have before. I mean, they must be trendy because I'm seeing them a lot in houses.
I mean, how handy would it be to have one out in the garage?
That'd be fantastic.
Right? That's got to be the new thing. We got to start that trend. We got to get builders on board with that, because I mean, you probably have water going out into the garage, right? You got plumbing going out in the garage. A lot of the houses will have floor drains and stuff. It's just like, man, it's not urinal out there.
Let's do it.
Super handy.
Folks, we're talking about reasons to own a home. The last one on our list is stability. Remaining in one neighborhood for several years allows you and your family to a time to build long-lasting relationships in the community. It also offers children a benefit of educational and social continuity. So this one, I mean, this is really true, right? I mean, we've been in our neighborhood for 10 years now. We've been in our neighborhood for 10 years, and I mean, I can tell you that the longer we're there, the more relationships that we build. And our kids are super familiar. The development is basically a square mile, and so there's trails everywhere, and all these ponds and frogs and turtles and everything. And so it is. It definitely is very comfortable. It feels comfortable and familiar and safe, and the longer we're there, the more relationships we're making with our neighbors. And so there's definitely stability. I love it.
Yeah. Well, I'm just looking at it from the parent side of things. Like, if you got neighbor kids that can come over and babysit, you know what I mean? They can walk over. They don't have to be able to drive.
We have had that,
and you know them.
Spectacular.
They're familiar with your kids. You're familiar with that. Like, it's just, I mean, that just makes a parent's life that much better when you can just be like, hey, so-and-so available, come on down, watch our kids. We want to go out, or do something.
We had a babysitter. Her name was Grace. And so for about probably 4 years, she was super cute. When we moved in, she came over and handed us a flyer. And at the time she was probably only, I don't know, 12 or maybe 13 years old. And she said, yep, I do babysitting. And she did. For 4 years, she watched our kiddos until she left for college. And she lived a half block away. So she'd walk over and do the babysitting, and then she'd walk home when we were done. And super cool. It was great for her and for us, and the kids loved her. So
heck yeah. Yeah, that's the way to go. I love it.
All right, folks, we've been talking about reasons to own your own home. A lot of benefits, a lot of great things we talked about. If you'd like more information about this, or if you'd like actually this full list sent to you, you can shoot us a message. And we'll get that over to you. We've got, I think all three of us are back on the show next week, but you've been listening to US Home Talk. We're live every Wednesday at noon, and we do appreciate you tuning in. Have a great week. Be sure to check out our website, ushometalk.com. Our real estate hotline number, 24 hours, is 612-234-7585. We appreciate you. Make it a great week.